I was not being facetious, actually. Alright, you can start anytime.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. It's Thursday. Howdy ho! Oh, and it's 2 days after the State of the Union address.
It is. And one day after the acquittal vote.
And one day after the acquittal vote. Basically, what we're saying is it is a great day to be an American.
It really is.
We're PodBros, a production of Sound Bros Productions, coming at you from the Quad City area in northern Arizona, Prescott Valley, Chino, Dewey, Humboldt.
Paulden, Mayor.
Paulden, yes, but they're not. It's not a city, and Mayor's way too far down.
Apache Junction,
Cordes Junction,
Skull Valley.
Seligman.
Essentially, Yavapai County.
All of Yavapai County, and then some. And if you haven't gathered yet, we are going to discuss some talking points on the State of the Union.
That was clever. That was a good segue into
like
that. That was good. That was good.
So, did you we watched the State of the Union. Unfortunately, we didn't watch it together. I think I would have enjoyed watching it together. I watched it late on the recording. Partly because I've been staying up too late.
You weren't that far off the recording.
Yeah, no, it was only 2 hours after the...
No, it was less than that.
After the show? After the actual show?
The State of the Union was at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Oh, wow. So I started it shortly after. Yeah, so I saw it almost time up.
8 p.m. Eastern time or something like that.
So I've been seeing a lot of things pop up about fact-checking the State of the Union. And it's and they're all from the, from different places.
They're all from different places?
Well, I mean, they're all from, so far all the ones I've been seeing have been from the big news outlets.
Oh, you mean from the liberal galactic media?
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm and they're of course countering everything that he said. And none of this is true. And he, it's not real. And, we didn't actually grow and nothing's good and blah, blah, blah. It's like people want to be unhappy.
Wow, this is crazy.
What'd you find?
Oh, I saw a little. You know how they have headlines to catch your attention. So the headline says, "No global entry for New York."
Okay,
which is disconcerting, to say the least.
Okay,
and of course, obviously, you can't just base things off of headlines.
Gotcha.
Because the liberal galactic media likes to. They like to fudge things with the
fudge
with the headlines.
Do they? Yeah.
Yes.
Poop stick.
Yep, that. So anyway, after reading through the article, apparently, the Department of Homeland Security is blocking New York residents from applying for or renewing memberships in the program, which is called
Global Reentry.
Yeah, which is the program that expedites international travel, which is called Global Entry.
Yeah.
So
we have a bunch of friends that are on that.
I do actually have
Yeah.
we do have a bunch of friends that are on it, and they actually what's really funny is that
it's the greatest thing ever for
Global
them.
Entry. They actually do a crazy over the top background check.
Oh, okay.
It's even more intense than any background check you've ever had. They literally look at everything. Your entire record. Even if it's been expunged, they find it.
Really?
Yeah, it's because global entry, essentially what global entry does is it allows you to bypass all of the checks.
Right.
Because it's like getting clearance, special clearance to travel through. So they have to do this crazy vetting process to make sure that you're not a criminal or a terrorist.
Gotcha.
So one of our friends actually, he used to, before he turned his life around, when he was 18 years old, he used to be a drug dealer.
Right.
And he used to sell kilos of drugs to rich people. That was what he did. and he got arrested when he was 18 and got a misdemeanor for having 10 kilos of marijuana on him.
Right. And they found it.
And it wasn't even, he didn't actually even get charged for it.
Really?
He didn't even go to court for it. They just like slapped him on the hand and let him go. But it was an undealt with misdemeanor on his record, and they found it from 40 years ago.
40 years ago, yeah.
And so he had to go and get it all figured out and fixed and everything, and then had to go back and reapply. But it's actually, what's amazing is that the Department of Homeland Security, when they do stuff like that, I mean, that's like crazy, an entire state.
I invented a new word.
Restricting an entire state is crazy.
Yeah, that is huge.
So anyway, go ahead.
I just want to interject with
Go
this.
ahead. What's your word?
It's a new word.
Go ahead. I'm ready.
Plagiarism.
Thank you.
All right, continue.
This is the part where you're supposed to say, well, I didn't really invent it. I just kind of borrowed it.
I kind of borrowed it. Did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers?
No.
He'll stop at nothing to avoid them.
Wow.
Continue.
Wow, that was really funny.
Continue.
Funny. So anyway, I mean, it's just crazy. Reading that article was just like, the reasons for it and everything. I'm sure we're further down in the article, but they are blocking the entire state of New York.
That's incredible.
From getting global entry. So
I wonder what the issue is.
Who knows? But I think we're going to see a lot of restrictions change, especially with this Kung Flu thing going on.
The Kung Flu coronavirus.
The coronavirus.
Did you hear about the doctor that originally warned about it in the first place? He died from it.
Wow,
just recently.
Crazy.
Very sad.
So yeah, there's actually they have a 2-week whatchamacallit, quarantine right now.
Oh wow!
Anyone coming from China, any U.S. citizen coming from China has to be quarantined
for 2 weeks.
For 2 weeks, because that's the gestation period, I guess, of the virus. So kind of crazy. We actually just had some friends come back who were in China.
Yeah.
They just came back because they're so the Wuhan city, the city of Wuhan.
Yeah, the place where
I don't know what the province is in China, but that's where the Kung Flu is. I can't think of it any other way than Kung Flu. I'm sorry.
It's all right. I'm reading ridiculous things over here, and it's just
that's
funny.
where it came from, and so you would think. Of course, this is American thinking here. You quarantine the city, and you're good to go. But the Chinese government is like an excuse to keep people from interacting with each other.
Of course.
And they've essentially quarantined the entire country.
Oh, my gosh.
So this guy lives almost like 500 miles away.
Wow.
400 miles away. The other side of the country.
Yeah.
Like near Beijing.
Wow. And
he sent me some pictures.
Yeah.
He sent me some pictures of some of the city blocks in the area that have literally thousands of people all day long, all night long, completely empty. The only thing that's out is military vehicles.
Wow.
If you want to go out of the house, they check your temperature. You go to the store, they check your temperature before you go to the store. If there's more than one person who lives in your house, one person has to stay home. Only one person can go out. You're not allowed to meet at all.
Wow.
They have completely and totally, the entire country is essentially under military quarantine.
Wow.
And I was also there's some friends who live in Mongolia as well, and they're doing the same thing.
Mongolia,
because of how the proximity to China.
Wow.
They're concerned about. It's not so much quarantining people into their homes like China does, but they're concerned about meetings.
So what is the coronavirus? It's like a type of flu or something like that?
It's part of a virus.
Okay.
That's very common in China. It's a respiratory virus.
Oh, right.
So it attacks the respiratory system, and you get coughing and stuff like that. And it's actually very dangerous, and it makes sense that it would form in China because China has massive pollution problems.
Right.
Because all of their power is coal. We've talked about this in the past on the show.
We have.
So it's just they're back. I think they're going to stay here until
it's over.
Well, I think they said mid-March is when they're going to start rolling back some of the quarantines, some of the restrictions. So I know that this whole Kung Flu thing, I know that the Chinese government is really concerned about it affecting the trade deal that we just made. Because Trump just made a trade deal with China. He just completed the trade deal.
Right.
I was just reading earlier today, $75 million worth of products.
Wow. That's right.
U.S. products.
One of the biggest trade deals ever.
Yeah. $75 million or 75 million trade products, something ridiculous like that.
Yep.
From the U.S. are going to be the tariffs that China has on them. They're going to be removing theirs, and we're going to be removing our tariffs on their products. So
that's awesome.
But tariffs don't work.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, really?
Oh, really?
Oh, really? So Helvetica and Times New Roman walked into a bar?
Okay.
Yeah. Get out of here, shouted the bartender. We don't serve your type.
Ha ha!
Yesterday I saw a guy spill
as they were walking out the door, and like, I wouldn't stay here anywhere. You got these wingdings over here in the corner.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Very good. Yesterday I saw a guy spill his Scrabble letters on the road.
Yeah?
I asked him, hey, what's the word on the street?
I'm curious about something. That story?
Once my dog ate all the Scrabble tiles,
okay,
he's been leaving me little messages around the house.
So I'm curious, the story about the bar.
Yeah.
Was there any pictures of it? Maybe an aerial view?
Aha. Word puns, the best. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Control freak.
Control freak who?
Okay, now you can say control freak who.
Was the why did they feel like they could go in there in the first place? Was it because it had a gothic look?
Oh, good grief. You're just running them out, huh?
Hey, why not, right?
You're just running them out. Hey, did you hear about the new restaurant called Karma?
No.
Yeah, there's no menu. You just get what you deserve. A woman in labor suddenly shouted, shouldn't, wouldn't, couldn't, didn't, can't. Don't worry, said the doc. Those are just contractions.
And then the husband looked at the doctor and said, Did.
Giggity. Oh, and this is why we wait 2 days to do a show. Because we're fresh.
Well, it helps when you've got something in front of you to read from.
So a bear walks into a bar and says, give me a whiskey and a cola. Or I read it wrong.
You totally ruined it.
I did.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to
it. Did you hear about the actor who fell through the floorboards?
No.
Yeah, he's just going through a stage.
Yeah. That was good.
Yeah. Did you hear about the claustrophobic astronaut?
No.
Yeah, he just needed a little space. You got the weather over there while I'm reading these?
I do actually have the weather.
Hey, why don't scientists trust atoms?
I already told this joke.
When? The other day?
Yeah, a long time ago.
Well.
We
repeat things on this show. Because they make up everything.
Because they have
mass. God. Why did the chicken do a seance?
Why?
To get to the other side.
That is the best version of that joke I have ever heard.
Yep.
Wow.
You know, where are average things manufactured?
Where?
The Satisfactory.
Oh, that's good.
How do you drown a hipster?
Oh.
You throw him in the mainstream.
Oh, that's clever. So it's 57 degrees right now outside. It actually was really nice when we went out earlier.
It was actually.
We had a meeting at the bank, and it was very pleasant. It feels like a nice spring day right now.
Spring.
Unfortunately, it's going to be
It's a lie.
Unfortunately, it's going to be 28 tonight. So I wish, I love the wintertime, but you get that little bit of warm and you're like, oh, this is nice. Then it gets cold again. You're like,
Well, it's that time between the winter and the warm where it's perfect. Because around here we do get the hot.
yeah, but we don't
But
get
it's not super
when
super
we're
hot,
when
but
we're
it's still
when
hot.
we're in what we're in right
We
now.
get the 90s and 100s.
for like a week.
No, we had them a lot last year.
No,
We did.
We were barely into the 90s though. We didn't get past like 92 or 93 all of last year.
That's true. That's true.
And my guess is that this year we'll probably have the monsoons will probably start early this year. So let's talk about the weather.
Yep, let's do that.
I can't hold it together with that look on your face.
Shut up, that hurt really bad. Okay, so dang. So I'm short. And when I sit in a chair, I swing my legs, and I just slammed my heel into the side of the chair. And it really, really hurt. It's not funny.
That's what makes it so funny.
Maybe it's funny. My ankle hurts really bad now. My heel. Oh, did you hear that?
I did. I heard it. It was all dunk, and you're like, ugh.
So
Supposedly, we're supposed to get snow again on Monday.
awesome.
They have been predicting snow on Monday
for like
for
a
the
month.
entire month of
For
January.
like a month.
They're
Like every
we're
day.
gonna get it right this time.
We're going to have snow on this day.
We're gonna get it this time, guys. We're gonna get it this time. No snow. All right.
No snow. Okay.
Next week.
Next week.
Oh, they're saying up to 60% chance of precipitation. It's crazy.
A bear walks into a bar
Yeah.
and he orders a whiskey and a cola.
Okay.
Why the big pause? Said the bartender. The bear shrugged. Not sure. I was born with them.
Oh, it was better the second time. You should have let the pause hang longer.
I should have. Okay, I'm swinging my legs again, and I'm terrified of hitting my foot. Hey, how do you keep a bagel from getting away?
How?
You put locks on it.
That was good.
A man tells his doctor, "Doc, I need help. I am addicted to Twitter." The doctor replies, "Sorry, I don't follow you."
That's funny. So,
Why don't calculus majors throw house parties?
why?
Because it's not safe to drink and derive. What kind of exercise do lazy people do?
What?
Diddly squats.
So, so what should we talk about first? The impeachment or the State of the Union? I think we should start with the impeachment because the State of the Union was flipping awesome.
It was. What does Charles Dickens keep in his spice rack?
What?
The best of times and the worst of times.
That was good.
Yep.
That was good.
Ooh, I like these. What is the difference between a cat and a coma?
What?
A cat has claws at the end of paws, and a coma is a pause at the end of a clause.
Oh, that's clever.
Indeed.
So, this whole impeachment thing, which has been pretty much a sham from the beginning, I personally think.
Agreed.
Yeah, so it's just been this big joke, and for 2 weeks now, it's been this trial where they've been presenting their evidence, and
Well, because it's
what's funny is that even the media, even the liberal galactic media can't help but report how crazy and lunatic-est
How much lunacy there is?
Lunatic-esque the Democrats have been about this.
Lunatic-esque.
Specifically, what is his name? Sheffield or whatever?
Shift.
Shift. Yeah, like from the last book of Wow, why didn't I think of that sooner?
The last book of what?
The Chronicles of Narnia. In the seventh book, in the last battle.
In the seventh book on the 42nd page.
Thank you. It's not the 42nd page. At the beginning of the story.
Okay, so it's more like the third page.
The character who is the tricky character, his name is Shift, and he's an ape, and he's ultimately the one that allows the Calormans to sneak into the country and take over, and ends the whole thing. So I find it interesting now that I'm putting that connection together. It's really funny that his name was Shift.
That's awesome.
He knew.
He knew. Anyway. No, the problem with the impeachment is that it came from, and of course there's no quote unquote strong air quotes here, evidence to prove this. But the impeachment came from purely a point of dislike. It is purely partisan. It is this, well, we don't like Trump, we need to get rid of Trump. Because everything that they have drummed up about him is a lie. We were watching that video the other day with Candace Owens and all of the black leaders, and they're attacking Trump on him being a racist. And she said, "I'd love to answer this question. Let me answer this question." Trump himself has denounced,
white supremacy
over and over and over again, and nobody believes him.
Yep.
It's like, how many times does the guy have to say it? The other side of it is, I've watched a bunch of things with Trump, and I know that WWE is just, it's a scripted thing, right? Mm-hmm. But I watched one yesterday where Trump was on WWE.
Oh, yeah, that's a funny one.
And he's facing off with McMahon.
Right.
And his champion is the big black guy.
Who was it?
His champion?
Who was the black guy? Which black guy was it?
Darn it, what was his name?
Can you not remember because they all look the same? That's racist.
Thank you. That is not what I did not say that.
So what this whole point was, I drew look into this so I could make it a point that he's
so
racist.
Ridiculous. Watch me run for public office someday. He said on a podcast that years ago that he was a racist. Good grief.
Sorry.
No, it just, I mean, like at every turn, he does all these things for the black community and for the minorities.
Not just for black people.
Unquote,
he's doing it for everyone.
But he does it for everybody.
I think that's the issue. I think that's the reason why the Democrats dislike him so much. I think that's the reason why.
It's because he doesn't have a side.
I think it's the reason why the establishment, Democrats and Republicans, dislike him. Because he is nonpartisan and how much he's helping people. Because
he doesn't care. If you're an American, you're an American.
And this is the side of things that people forget. When people start talking about socialism, they start talking about how capitalism, which in our term of capitalism isn't actually capitalism.
Right.
When they start talking about capitalists, they forget about the fact that capitalism is not racist.
Right.
It is literally the opposite of racism.
Yeah. Did we freeze?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay, you keep looking down.
I'm just looking at it to make sure it's not frozen.
What did the Tin Man say when he got ran over by a steamroller?
What?
Curses. Foil again.
So ridiculous.
Sorry. I've been waiting to share that one. It was the perfect time.
But my point is that you forget that being a businessman, you want to make money, you have to do business with everyone.
Yeah, like
you know
why
us,
I don't care.
Do you know why there are not signs on buildings anymore that say Irish need not apply? Do you know why that is? It's not because some social justice warrior rallied people together to fight against bigotry.
Yeah.
It's because the company finally realized they make up most of the people if we take these signs down, we'll make way more money.
Let's make more money.
Because
Ta-da!
that's what Martin Luther did. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yep.
This whole we were watching this video with AOC where she was talking crap about Trump's State of the Union address, and she was comparing.
Well, we'll get there.
No, but
she was comparing Rush Limbaugh to Rosa Parks.
And we'll explain why later. But the problem is that Rosa Parks didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Let
me say this: nothing against her at all.
Yeah.
But she didn't do anything.
She refused to get off.
She just didn't move a chair.
She refused to get off of the seat.
Yeah.
As part of the protest. She was just one of the protesters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone forgets about the fact that Martin Luther King Jr. organized the entire black community in the South.
Right.
And they actually boycotted the entire bus system entirely.
Yep.
And within a very short amount of time, the bus system removed their blacks right on the back or right on the outside thing.
Yep. They changed everything because of that, because they lost money.
Because the black people were their number one customers.
Yep.
You cannot be racist and have business.
Nope.
It doesn't work.
You can. It just, you don't survive.
You just don't make money.
Exactly.
You don't want to make money? Sure, be racist.
Like,
but that is the beauty of our country.
My favorite thing in the world is to go into like an Asian restaurant, like a Thai restaurant, and get served by a white person.
Yeah,
I think it's hysterical. It's great.
Hey.
You look in the back of the kitchen and there's a Mexican chef. At a Thai restaurant. It's like if they can do it, they can do
the food. I
exactly.
mean, one of my friends from Walmart, he quit at Walmart after 5 years and went and got a job working at Panda Express.
Making more money.
As a chef. They actually hired him as a chef. Why? Because he's really good at making Asian food.
He needs to come to my house.
He actually moved down to Phoenix.
Oh, and works at a Panda down there?
And works at one of the Pandas down there as like one of their managers or something like that.
Oh, wow.
He's gotten promoted because he's so good at what he does.
That's awesome.
But this goes into our point.
The point is, if you can do it, do it.
Racism is stupid.
Yep.
Racism doesn't make any sense.
Racism doesn't hurt anyone but you.
Exactly. That's exactly it.
If you are white and you are racist, you're not hurting anyone of color or anyone else.
While we're talking about racism, you know what's a really easy way to remove the prejudice that police have towards black people, or that we have, or that there seems to be this prejudice towards cops dealing negatively with police?
Yeah, or people just dealing negatively with police.
Anyone.
The statement is always, he shot that unarmed black man, or blah, 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 blah. Real easy, folks. Arm everyone.
Arm everyone.
It completely changes how much you can throw down that boy when that boy is packing.
How about this? And there's this movie called The Hate You Give, right? About that guy.
I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it either, but it was about that black kid who
reaches for his stupid...
Who the cop... Okay, first, the cop has him get out of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Then he reaches back into the vehicle and grabbing something. His hairbrush. And the cop shot him. And to be honest with you...
Correct.
I can't blame the cop. However, you know what the cop wouldn't have done? If he had been armed?
If it had been understood that everybody was armed.
If everyone had a gun?
Yep.
You're not going to ask me to get out of the vehicle. I have a gun on me.
Yeah.
It is now easier for me
to
cause a problem.
Yeah.
Guns make society cordial.
Yes.
A civilized
society
is a polite society. Exactly.
Thank you, Colonel Jeff Cooper.
Indeed. And I think that is the biggest issue that a lot of the gun control people, they dismiss. They write that sort of thing off, like this guy who got so we'll talk about that in a minute too with the State of the Union thing.
Yep.
Anyway, so the article I'm reading is about Mitt Romney, who was the only Republican senator.
Republican, and I'm saying strong air quotes here.
Well, they're calling that he be removed from the party. That's
Good.
The article I'm reading right now.
Good.
So he was the only one. So there was two different charges. One charge was for obstruction of Congress. The other one was abuse of powers.
Right.
Obstruction of Congress, he voted with the Republicans for acquittal.
Right.
He voted against the Republicans with the abuse of power accusation in the impeachment papers.
Bogus.
So this article essentially is it's talking about, so Donald Trump Jr., the president's oldest son, tweeted that Mr. Romney is forever bitter about losing the presidency and calls for him to be expelled from the Republican Party.
Excellent.
It gets better. Rhonda McDaniel, Mitt Romney's niece and chairwoman of the Republican National Committee, said that the president has done nothing wrong. The party was more united than ever behind him, and that this was the first time that she had disagreed with Mitt. And President Trump himself tweeted a video attacking Mitt Romney, called him a Democrat secret asset, which is along the similar lines as to what he called McCain, who was doing the same sort of things.
It's because they're from the McCainiacs.
Well, it is, like I said before, it is the establishment Republicans. It's the establishment Democrats.
Yep.
They're racist. They're bigoted,
hateful,
wealthy,
angry,
old white people.
Old white people.
They are literally everything
that they say they hate.
That they say that they hate.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you are that. You're an angry, old, rich white person who hates people.
Yeah. Yeah. How's that working out for you?
Yeah, and up until now, they have been able to get away with pitting us against each other.
Yeah.
Where you have, young idealistic white people that are like, like us, where we're technically Italian, which isn't. I've talked about that a little bit, where we're actually not classified as Caucasian because we're from Italy, which is the southern part of Europe, which was in a different immigration bracket during the mass immigration from other countries. But that's another story for another time.
But we're still on the paperwork white
yeah, well, we're still Caucasian on the paperwork. So what I'm saying is that here you have these white people that we have a very specific view, and then you have these black people, and you're like, well, they don't think the same way as you. We're told they don't think the same way as us.
Have a conversation.
You don't even need to have a conversation. Listen to one of the old rap songs.
Yeah.
Listen to something that was produced by...
Listen to NWA.
Yeah, NWA, straight out of Compton. Listen to their songs about the police. I feel the same way.
Yeah, I really do.
You break down the song, you get rid of...
Whoop, whoop.
You pull the music out of it, you listen to the words,
yep,
and you're like,
wow,
wait.
I've experienced that.
I agree with that.
Yes.
I agree with everything that's said in this song.
Yeah. It's the sound of the police.
Well, that's not NWA, but it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
Though, yeah.
Ugh. And so, in any case, it was no surprise that he got acquitted. It was voted very much on party lines.
Yeah, which is the way
they needed 67 votes.
And the other side of it being voted on party lines, the other side of this is that from a political standpoint, if ever you were wondering who cares about the country and who doesn't, look at that vote. Because you can say whatever you want to say about the man. You can disrespect him as much as you want to. But the numbers don't lie. Right?
In regards to?
In regards to the economy and all of these different things. The man has done everything he said he was going to do.
And he's even building the wall.
And he's even building the wall.
And in his State of the Union address,
he said we were going to be finished by the end of this year.
No.
Next year?
The end of next year, we'll have 500 miles completed.
How far is it? Like 2,000?
Something like that. That's pretty impressive.
That
500
is impressive.
miles completed.
Yeah.
There's already 100 miles completed.
Yep.
Of new wall. There's over 300 miles of old wall that have been repaired and upgraded.
Awesome.
So, it's the bottom of the hour.
We're PodBros, a production of Sound Bros Productions. We really do need to make that little blip.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it sometime. Anyway, so
Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, Facebook,
Google Spot,
YouTube, Google Spot,
Google Play,
Google Play,
Google Play,
Google Play,
Spot-a-tune,
Spot-a-tune. I like that.
You Spot-a-tune.
Oh,
book.
Twit book.
You Spot-a-tune.
You
book.
twit face.
You twit face. Yes, very good. All right. Anyway, so let's talk about the
State of the Union.
The State of the Union. So you watched it,
but first.
Oh, but first.
But first.
Wait, we're going to talk about it, but first.
But
okay.
But first.
So, the State of the Union.
It sounds so much better in here because of the phone.
I know, right?
What did the bald man exclaim when he was given a brand new comb for a present?
What?
Thanks! I'll never part with it.
Oh, that was clever.
Okay, continue.
What if he had a beard, though?
You're not going to part your beard.
Some people do.
Weird. Speaking of which, I'm cutting my beard.
I see the hole in your jokes.
I'm cutting my beard today.
I poked a hole in your jokes.
I will be small bearded. What? What does that look?
You do you, bro. You do you.
I'm feeling the need to trim it up.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't.
You do you, man.
Maybe I should just leave it full bearded.
Anyway, so the State of the Union was flipping awesome. It was.
When did you watch it?
So you started watching it right before I left, right?
Yeah.
I got home and forgot about it. And I was playing some video games. Because my other brother, Vince, has slowly been giving me all of our old video games that we used to play together.
Yes,
that were all his.
Yes.
And since I'm the only one who still plays them, it's great fun. So I've been slowly playing through all of my old favorite video games.
Yeah.
From 2010, when I was still in high school. So I did that for a little while, and then my mom called me because I had to talk about some money stuff, bounce checks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. The credit union's flipping awesome.
Yeah, no doubt.
They so I had a check bounce. Someone gave me a check and it bounced, and the credit union caught it.
Didn't give you a fine.
They caught it before it bounced because of some other issue on the check.
Right? I keep doing it to myself.
Anyway.
Stupid.
The look on your face is so priceless.
Stupid.
So,
don't look at me.
Don't look at me. Don't stop looking at me.
Don't look at me.
No. Yeah, so it was they were awesome. They caught it. I didn't get a fee, which is great for the person who gave me the check because I was going to pass the fee along to them.
Oh, yes, very much so.
Anyway, so I started watching it at about 12 o'clock.
Oh, wow, late.
Finished about 1:30. So, but it was awesome. It was
so good. It was so good.
Just from start to finish, I think it's a combination between.
He is a master at the trump card.
That's exactly what it is. But it's the showman thing. It's like watching a TV show, like a reality TV show.
Yeah, it's like
watching.
You get a car.
Yeah, Oprah.
You get a car.
It's like Oprah.
Everybody gets a car.
It's Oprah President Edition.
Only better.
Yeah, Oprah President Edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's funny is that people have talked crap about it, but it's just like, yeah, it's just because no one's ever thought of it before. The point of the State of the Union is for the president to kind of show off a little bit.
Yeah.
So he did some pretty cool stuff. He had some great. He talked about some some representatives and some senators that were passing bills. He showcased a couple bills that were pretty awesome. He talked about the economy and how it's the best it's ever been. He talked about how the unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been in 50 years. He talked about how the black unemployment rate is the lowest it's ever been in recorded history. And this is employment that doesn't include slavery.
Correct.
Just to be clear.
Just so we're all on the same page there.
Because only the Democrats count that sort of thing. Because they were the employers. Anyway.
Yes.
We had employees. We've been employing black people for 300 years.
300 years.
Yes, you have. Yes. Yes, you have.
All right.
I think one of the coolest things was Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, he awarded he just thanked Rush Limbaugh for being there.
Yeah.
because Rush Limbaugh was representing people with advanced lung cancer, and the amount of money that he was donating to cancer research and whatnot.
Right. Which actually he has
incredible.
already in the past.
He has donated a lot.
Yeah, he has donated a lot.
Yeah,
So.
and he now has advanced
Lung
stage
cancer.
4 lung cancer or something like that. Like, that's a bummer. Right?
So then,
and then, like, shortly thereafter, he awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yep.
And then had Melania give it to him right then.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
It was so cool.
So I read an article about that.
I read one too, dissing them for doing it during.
So the article that I read it explained why he did it.
Okay.
So the president has these luncheons with members of the press,
Right.
that are off the record. They're called off the record luncheons.
Okay.
What they talk about is he's just kind of preparing them for what's going to happen so that they have like a head start on the news.
Okay.
So that when the news comes out or when a story comes out, they already know.
That's how they get it so fast?
That's how they get it so fast, because he tells them about it. So he had this luncheon, and during the luncheon, he mentioned that he was going to be awarding Rush Limbaugh the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Of freedom, yeah.
He didn't say when. He didn't say what was going to happen. Well, they leaked it.
Right, I knew that.
And so...
And Rush didn't know.
Yeah, Rush had no clue, which made it so brilliant. I think that was the best part about it, was that he was completely and totally blindsided by it, which was fantastic. So what Trump did in typical Trump fashion is he said, fine, you're going to leak it, then...
I'm going to do it at the State of the Union.
I'm going to do it at the State of the Union then. Because I don't think he was planning on doing it at the State of the Union.
No, I don't think he was either.
From the article that I read, I don't think he was planning on doing it then. I think he was planning on doing it at a separate ceremony.
Right.
I think he was planning on just telling him, I'm giving you this medal. And then that being it.
Yeah.
But with this whole leak thing, he was just like, you know what? I'm just going to give it to him right then.
Yeah. We're going to do it in front of the entire nation.
Yeah. So, which was awesome. I think
it really was.
I think that was well played.
And a very deserving man.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
the point of I was actually explaining this to Mom because I was talking to her last night after church. The point of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is the highest medal that a civilian can receive. The reason that this medal exists, the point for it, is it is supposed to be awarded to people that advance the cause of freedom, of liberty, of the American ideal.
And who better has done that?
Well, and so I use the example in World War II, the beginning of World War II in 1941. President FDR awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to I forget what his name is right now. I should have looked it up. But he is the guy who wrote Yankee Doodle Dandy, Grand Old Flag, Over There.
Okay, yeah.
All those songs, which were all musicals. They were all part of musicals. All of those songs were musical numbers in musicals on Broadway. But he wrote all these songs, and they became like mainstay, patriotic, rah-rah songs, right? Are you going to do it again?
No.
And so he awarded him the medal because he was
advancing that stuff.
Because he was helping America with the music that he was producing. And so, a person who does that, which is that is what Rush Limbaugh does.
Yep.
If you ever listen to any of his show, it's much more of an educational type show.
Well, and he also did all of those Rush Revere books.
Oh my
all
gosh,
of that
which are
history
so good.
Stuff.
Have you read any of those?
I have not. No, are they
Oh my
amazing?
gosh, they're so good. The best though are the ones that I have a couple of them in audiobook form.
And he reads the audiobook, doesn't he?
I should give them to you.
Yeah.
They're so good.
I'll have to.
They are. He does all the parts. They're so good. He's called Rush Revere. And he has a magical time travel horse.
Oh, nice. And it's all dead accurate,
Yep.
right? Dead
It's
historically accurate.
all the stuff that he did all the research on to make sure everything was accurate and stuff. It's really cool.
Like the real story of Thanksgiving and all
Yeah,
of that
he
stuff.
talks about the
does all
Pilgrims. Yeah, Rush Revere and the Pilgrims. Then he does Rush Revere and the Presidents. And he talks about President. That was actually where I first started. I'm reading a book. I was just finished a book about Adams, President Adams. And I'm going to read another one that Joe's got our brother Joe. He's got one he's going to let me read. But I started looking for stuff on Adams after I listened to his audiobook on the presidents, because he talked about John Adams. And I had believed this about John Adams all along, but all you get in school is the propaganda, right?
Of course,
because that's all that's left is the yellow journalism. And so a lot of what was left about Adams after his participation in the are we okay? Should we stop?
No, continue.
After his deal with the Declaration of Independence and after his stuff with the Constitution, all you hear about him is the Alien and Sedition Act, where he was causing problems with immigration. But this book talks about everything that he did and what an amazing guy he was.
Okay.
And how the Federalists really got a bad name because of Hamilton. Because of Alexander Hamilton, because Alexander Hamilton was a piece of crap.
Wait, isn't Hamilton a play?
Yes. That the liberals made because of how much they like him. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Everything you need to know about
so Rush Limbaugh, great guy. He deserved it. He absolutely deserved it.
Very much so.
So then there was a guy there who was part of the Tuskegee Airmen.
Yes.
And which, if you don't know what the Tuskegee Airmen is, they were the black pilots from World War II.
Yep.
And if you want to watch a good movie that's fairly accurate,
that's the one with
Lawrence Fishburne? Red Tails.
Red Tails
is a great movie that kind of.
Actually, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
It showcases a little bit of what they did and some of the progress that they made in the military. Was that a knock on the door?
I'll be right back.
Okay. Anyway, so he was there. He was a colonel or a colonel, right?
Brigadier General.
No. What was he before that?
Whatever this.
Yeah, I think he was a colonel. But Trump gave him a promotion to Brigadier General, so a one-star general, which was really cool. And he was there with his grandson, who wants to be part of the Space Force. There was actually a couple kids he had there that were part of the Space Force. And there was a mother and a daughter, a black mother and her daughter, and they live in Pennsylvania. And they're on a waiting list to get a scholarship for school choice for choosing which school they want to go to, so they don't have to go to public school. And in Philadelphia, they just voted down this bill that would have increased the number of kids that could be on the program. Anyway, long story short, he gave her there's a scholarship that came available for her so that she could have her scholarship paid for. And that was all I talked about. It was cool. It was like this cool little thing. So then I did some reading, and there was a separate article about the I'm actually gonna wait because I want to tell Luke this, so I'm gonna pause. All right, barring any more interruptions.
Yes.
So I was just
People
talking about
knocking on
the lady who got the scholarship.
Yes.
So I read about the scholarship.
The little girl
Yes,
that got the school choice.
the school choice scholarship.
The school choice scholarship.
So
yeah.
I found out about what this scholarship was.
Okay.
This ambiguous scholarship that he was talking about. So you know that Trump doesn't receive a salary, right?
Correct.
Well, apparently there are other people on his cabinet.
Which is so stinking
there are other
fantastic.
people on his cabinet that don't receive a salary either
Really?
because they're also billionaires.
So they have chosen to not receive a salary.
So
It's great for taxes, by the way, not getting a salary.
yeah, right.
It's fantastic.
So
for
the
taxes.
director of education is a billionaire
on his salary or on his cabinet.
And she does not receive her salary for the year, ever. What she does is she takes her salary and she turns it into tuition for people.
Is this a good person? This seems like a great person.
So she took part of her salary for this year and paid this little girl's entire tuition
For school choice.
for school choice.
Can we say Trump card?
Yeah, seriously. So, of course, you didn't talk about that during the State of the Union, but I found out afterward the fact. It was like, wow, what an amazing person.
So this person is in support of school choice then.
Oh, of course.
Which is probably why we hear
she's-
about the schools changing.
She's Trump's director of education.
Yeah.
So, awesome lady. Anyway, so there was a whole bunch of stuff. He had veterans and he had the president.
The president of Venezuela, the legitimate president of Venezuela,
which was so brilliant,
was there and received a standing ovation from everyone,
He really
including the white-dressed Democrats, which I think is funny.
That they dress all in white. And the only thing that they're missing is their cone hats.
Their cone hats, indeed.
Yeah, seriously. And Trump made publicly, he said, we are officially in support of you and the Venezuelan people.
Yep.
So, which is something that's been waiting. The Venezuelans have been waiting for this for about 3 weeks. They've been asking for about 3 months
for us to support them.
For us to officially come out and support them. The Trump administration to specifically support them.
Come out and support them.
So, that's like a big deal.
It is.
And then they talked about what was the one that you were about to say?
Oh, just the very end. The very end of his speech, towards the end of his speech, and he was talking about well, he said a lot of really good things. So one of the biggest things that he said is he talked about babies.
The preemie baby.
The preemie baby that was born and survived.
So she was, I did the math, and I think it was just under 3 months.
She was just under 3 months old?
Just under 3 months in the womb.
In the womb. Oh, wow. So she was a preemie.
Super preemie babies.
And she survived.
She was born at a hospital, and this hospital now has a 50% survival rate.
Of those babies.
Of super preemie babies.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Wherever that hospital is, let's go there.
So he segued from that into passing a bill to ban all late-term abortions.
All
late-term abortions. Reason being, the argument has always been viability.
Right. Well, it's now...
Viability is now 2.5 months.
Yep. It's now moot, which is awesome. So there was that.
So...
and then he supported he came out straight out and said, as long as I am president, I will defend your Second Amendment rights.
I read about this too. Did you read about this guy?
Awesome.
Did you read about this guy, the Parkland guy?
Go ahead.
So
So
there was
while he said that.
No, after he said that. There was someone yelling up in the balcony. You couldn't hear what he was saying. He was just yelling and screaming, and then all of a sudden he stopped
because he got.
And you heard like shuffling.
Yeah.
And Job just got to power through it. So I found out after the fact, this guy was one of the parents of a child that died in the Parkland shooting in Florida.
Yeah.
Which was terrible.
Yes, absolutely.
But he was yelling about, well, what about my daughter? That was what he was yelling was, what about my daughter? The problem is that, sir, your daughter died in a gun-free zone.
Correct.
And I would very effectively make the argument that if it hadn't been a gun-free zone, one of two events would have happened. Either first, the guy would have been put down, or second, he wouldn't have even gone there in the first place.
Truth.
Because crazy or not, most people aren't going to go somewhere
where people are armed.
Where people are armed. Yep. Yeah. Like we've said before, an armed society is a polite society.
So, but the problem is when it comes to Second Amendment and all of these things, people disconnect the logic.
Oh, of course.
Because they get hung up on the emotions.
It's the same issue with abortion.
Yep.
Abortion is a very logical, when you present abortion as a logical argument. There is no argument.
There is no argument. Yeah.
There is literally zero argument in favor of abortion on a legitimately logical standpoint.
Yeah, exactly.
There are literally thousands of options. There are hundreds and hundreds of parents that can't have kids that are waiting to adopt children.
Hi, I was one of them.
And you're gonna tell this mother, this mother who doesn't have the means to take care of her child, that the best option is to kill it?
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
Well, this is genocide.
But my point is that
it's genocide.
On that argument, which is their main argument, well, they can't take care of their kid. That's their main argument.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are the arguments of like, well, what about rape or incest? And it's like, so she was violated. So we're going to violate her body again by making her kill her child.
Yeah, so because she was raped, then we're going to make murder okay.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
They never have. So he nailed a lot of really, really good points.
That was a big part of it. He had a lady there. Her daughter
Her
totally
baby.
looked fine, did not look weird.
She was so adorable. She was a little upset.
Well, yeah, of course.
2-hour thing. Sit quiet. Shh. He's going to call her name next.
Yeah, we're next, right?
But the best, I would say, all night long. I mean, he had the Tuskegee guy. He had Rush Limbaugh, which is up there at the top for me. He had that little girl. He had the parents of Kayla from here in Prescott.
Kayla, okay. Oh, she is for the one from here in Prescott.
She's the one from Prescott,
right,
yep.
okay.
So her parents were there.
I was confused between her and the other lady who was, her boyfriend was in ISIS.
Right.
And they got killed in an airstrike.
No, that's not her.
It's not Kayla. Okay.
No, so Kayla, for anyone who doesn't know, was the doctor, I believe. She was a doctor, physician's assistant.
Yeah.
Here in town, decided to go and help people in another country, got captured while she was there and tortured and brutalized by Soleimani himself.
Right.
And then he murdered her.
Wait, Soleimani.
The guy that we just killed.
Not Soleimani.
Yeah.
The ISIS guy. Soleimani's the guy who's the head of
Iran?
Yeah.
No, it was Soleimani. It's the same guy.
No. He specifically distinguished it in the
I have to. Okay, so I might be wrong here. Hang on.
Because
she was captured.
Because he started with the parents.
That's right.
And talked about
al-Baghdadi. Al-Baghdadi.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
al-Baghdadi.
Al-Baghdadi.
Yeah.
Not Soleimani.
Because the special forces guys named their mission after her birthday.
After her birthday, yeah.
Right. It was
al-Baghdadi.
It was the other guy, Soleimani or whatever, the head of the Revolutionary Guard.
Right.
He was the one that he talked about when he had the mom and her 2 kids stand up, who's based out of Bragg.
Oh, her husband's
North Carolina.
There fighting.
Yeah, he's there fighting.
Oh, he's there fighting. Okay.
He was there
That's
fighting.
Right. Okay. And so that's what I'm talking about is the end. Trump pulled his final card, and there was a serviceman.
Yeah, the family
who had left his wife and 2 children, serving our country over in the Middle East. For the last, year and a half?
Yeah, so, they don't deploy for longer than a certain number of days in a year, but yeah.
They hadn't seen him in over a year.
Yeah, they haven't seen him over in a year and a half.
And he showed up.
Which, by the way,
in the middle of showed up at the speech.
Which is actually, they actually had a big issue with that.
Why?
Because technically, no one's allowed to come in to the chambers.
After it started?
After the president comes in, the whole little spiel where the sergeant at arms says, Madam Secretary, or Madam Speaker,
the President
of the United States. When he comes in and the people come in behind him, the doors close.
And that's it.
And if you go out, you can't come back in.
Right.
So that freshman senator,
the Democrat senator that left,
or congressman or woman or whatever, who left, she couldn't come back in.
Yeah.
You leave, you can't come back in. So they had to make special arrangements for him to be able to get in.
I thought he was just at the top of the stairs the whole time.
He was outside.
He was out. Well, he had to be.
Because there was no room. Right? Yeah, there was no room.
So Trump.
So anyway, he comes in. It was awesome.
It was so
standing
good.
ovation. It was great.
And his wife is in tears.
And then to finish it all off, since we're here, we're at the top of the hour.
Spoiler alert of the State of the Union.
Yeah, right. Seriously, actually, you should go and watch it anyway because we just covered all the Trump. We just covered all the Trump cards.
Yeah,
his actual speech was very well put together, very well done.
Yes.
I think my only complaint, right before we get to the finale here,
of course,
my only complaint with the State of the Union. And I've always disliked this. Even back when Obama was president and when Bush was president, I always hated this. Just let him give his flippin' speech. Why do we have to stand up and clap every 5 seconds?
Every 5 seconds, yeah.
Everyone sits back down. And then he says something.
That's how the speech becomes 2 hours long.
Yeah, it's like, can you guys just Let him say like a couple good points and then give him like a good like minute of clapping and then sit back down.
You're right.
Can we like change the format here or something?
To be honest, I like it.
But
it's goofy, but I like it.
I think the best though. Okay, I forgot about this part. After the guy came in, the veteran guy came in. They all started chanting USA, which I love when they do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the finale, the best of all, Trump finishes his speech, and Nancy Pelosi rips it up.
Yep.
Which, for those of you
like
who
I
are,
said, if you want to know anything about who likes our country and who doesn't like our country, take a look at the impeachment.
What was that?
And the State of the Union.
What was that thing you were reading the other day about legal documents and destroying legal documents? So the State of the Union address is a legal document, right?
Yep.
And the three copies of it, the one that Trump had, and the two that the Speaker of the House,
that he gives the Speaker of the House and the President of the Senate,
which is the Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence. Those are legal documents. They are an official legal document. They're put on special paper. They use special ink for them. They have a special number.
Yeah.
And if you destroy them, you can go to jail or be fined up to
three years.
Couple $1,000.
Yep.
So kind of brings a whole new meaning to her sitting up there ripping that paper in half.
Wow.
Although I think maybe the country would do pretty good with having her in jail for a couple years.
I think that would be fantastic. Okay, so let's so now the news is all about her ripping that up, and Representative Matt Gaetz files ethics complaint against Nancy Pelosi over Turnip speech.
Nancy Pelosi?
Yep.
Is that what her name is? Nancy
her
Pelosi?
Quote is, "It was the courteous thing to do considering the alternatives." Mitch McConnell said, "Perhaps she will tear up this verdict like she tore up the State of the Union address." Mike Pence, "I think they see through the pettiness. They see through the politics of it all."
Nice.
Hakeem Jeffries is House Democratic Caucus chairman. "As far as I'm concerned, a shredder wasn't available, and she did what she needed to do."
Dumb.
Newt Gingrich, as Speaker of the House for 4 State of the Unions by a president of another party, "I am disgusted and insulted by the viciously partisan action Nancy Pelosi's."
It's true.
Tearing up.
He was the
speech.
Speaker of the
She
House
isn't.
during. He was Speaker of the House during during old Slick Willie.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's our show. It's the top of the hour.
It is the top of the hour.
Glad you could join us for this
this
enjoyable adventure.
Foray into the State of the Union and things in our current awesome country.
And some good puns thrown in there for good measure.
You know what? God bless the USA.
Indeed.
And God bless the President of the United States. And just be happy that you're an American. I mean, that's awesome here.
You know, I agree. America is awesome.
It is awesome here.
Well, we hope you learned something today on PodBros.
Indeed. Because if you're
not
not learning,
you're dying.
you're dying.
So
Stay alive.
stay classy. No, stay alive. Sorry.
Stay classy, USA.
Stay classy, USA.
Stay alive. Stay alive.
Stay alive. If you're not learning,
You're dying.
oh, if you hear this noise, it means we're done.